We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios in Colombo with primetime news. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
Good evening, I'm Shahin Jarampati. We start off to look at your headlines tonight. Children must understand the need to have life goals in addition to examinations. A statement from the President. Vimal Veeravangsa's passport released under a bond of 100,000 rupees. Presidential Commission of Inquiry investigates MV Avantgarde vessel. Space debris expected to crash into the Indian Ocean, not a part of a meteor. Sri Lanka among the top nations in the Ease of Doing Business Index. President Maithripala Sirisena says that children should understand the importance of achieving life goals similar to the importance given to an examination. The President made this statement while addressing an event held at Samudra Devi Balika Vidyalaya in Nugegoda today. The annual prize giving of Samudra Devi Balika Vidyalaya in Nugegoda was held under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena today. Awards for students who performed exceptionally were presented by President Sirisena. It is essential that children understand the importance of achieving life goals similar to the importance and prominence given when facing an examination. Just like providing the knowledge required to excel in various subjects during examination, today we see the need for more involvement in extracurricular activities outside school, such as the appreciation of nature, aesthetics, beauty, culture, sports and various other activities in order to adjust oneself to society. Although there are satisfactory results of free education and examination level for us to move forward as a country, we still see instances where inhumane activities occur which undermines the true level of humanity. So it is my belief that we are at a juncture where we must teach our children that it is just as important to achieve life goals as it is to achieve examination results. President Maithripala Sirisena was also presented a memento by the students. Thereafter, President Sirisena declared open an aesthetic unit at the school.
Negombo Additional Magistrate Tilakratna Bandara ordered today that the passport of the leader of the National Freedom Front, Parliamentarian Vimal Veeravangsa, be released subject to a bond of 100,000 rupees.
Officials from the Department of Immigration and Immigration questioned MP Vimal Veeravangsa last Thursday night when a discrepancy regarding his passport surfaced as he attempted to travel overseas. These officials then handed over the parliamentarian to the Criminal Investigations Department for further investigations. The case was postponed to the 3rd of May 2016.
The case was taken up for the second time today. The case was taken up today to inspect the documents of the sureties and to release the passport of MP Vimal Veeravangsa. At court, the CID agreed to the release of the new passport of the MP, which is the valid one. The case was postponed until the 3rd of May 2016. If the situation was of a serious nature, I do not think court would have released my passport today. There is no ban on my overseas travels either. The actions taken by court prove that the case is not as serious as the CID tried to show it. The courts will provide answers on the 3rd of May next year when the case is taken up again. You will receive all the answers by then. We will hold discussions with those Sri Lankans residing overseas and we hope to conduct that series of meetings in the future. We see this as an attempt made by the government to suppress parties who do not support them and who stand on the side of the people. We have hope and we believe that the judicial system in this country will stand unbiased and mete out a fair judgment. The government is interfering in this manner because we are trying to reveal the wrongs being committed by the government under the guise of good governance. We would like to inform the government that regardless of the interventions, they will never be able to stop our journey. We presented this problem in Parliament to the Prime Minister. However, all the programs that were to be held on the day he was to travel on got cancelled. This is because he got his passport released only today. What does the United National Party not say? Who believes what the United National Party says?
On a given day, 4 to 5 persons are arrested at the airport and remanded for between 14 to 21 days. They are charged with possessing an invalid passport, an invalid birth certificate, or that the number of their NIC is different. The courts who have arrested a number of individuals in this manner freed Vimal today. He was granted bail on the same day. We think the Prime Minister's intervention in this matter was a big mistake. The law must be meted out to all equally. Having one law for Vimal and another law for the others arrested at the Katanaika International Airport is a big mistake. This is what the legal sphere reiterates often, saying that the law must be just. Not only has the court freed him, but his passport was released as well. So that means parliamentarians can commit acts of thievery, they can commit fraud, and they can commit corruption, and the law will not have any impact on them. Is the Prime Minister afraid of him being vocal? Is this what we expected from good governance? This is the current state of the government. When the law of the country is being implemented, it cannot differ from parliamentarians or ministers. Even if he is the leader of a party, if he possesses 2 passports, he must be imprisoned. A grave situation has arisen in our country with regard to the implementation of the law. What is happening through this joint rule is that certain laws are not being implemented. Regardless of position, wrongdoers must be punished. It is pointless to keep files belonging to thieves atop desks, apprehend the corrupt and mete out justice regardless of their positions. Re-establish the rule of law in the country. Do not meddle with the law. State Minister Priyanka Jayaratne was summoned before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into serious acts of fraud and corruption and abuse of power today.
Secretary of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, Lasil De Silva, speaking to Newsfirst, said that Priyanka Jayaratne was questioned over the alleged financial fraud said to have taken place at Sri Lankan Catering, the catering service of Sri Lanka's national airline. As the subject minister of aviation under the previous government, I was questioned over certain incidents which took place at the catering company of Sri Lankan Airlines. I was questioned over a matter where former President Mahinda Rajapaksa provided food for the Puttalam district provincial coordinating meeting. The district secretary had made payments. Moreover, regarding the catering service of Sri Lankan Airlines, I asked them to question its chairman and board of directors because that is not something relevant to me. It is the board of directors and the chairman who should answer these questions. I extended my support for this process. They also questioned me over another incident where food was provided for a May Day event. I gave all the required details, saying that all payments on that have been made and that another payment should be made, but that should be discussed with the district secretary and the presidential secretary because it is not something relevant to me.
Members of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into Serious Financial Crimes boarded the Avant-Garde vessel at the Galle Harbour today to conduct investigations.
When News1st inquired, the head of the investigation team, Inspector Rajapaksa, said that they investigated a part of the cache of weapons that were found on the vessel. He added the remaining weapons would be investigated tomorrow. The objective of investigating the weapons was to ascertain the credibility of the evidence recorded by the Presidential Commission, which claims that during the tenure of the previous government, Avant-Garde had obtained the weapons from Rakna Arakshaka Lanka.
The Presidential Commission of Inquiry needs to be applauded over their activities. They must install a separate unit to investigate the Avant-Garde issue. As an organization, we are very pleased. The entire country speaks of the Avant-Garde issue. This is not a small issue. This has become a small issue in the government and in Parliament. There is talk about that and no statements are being made questioning this. The law in the country is not tough enough on... This is a serious issue over a statement made to the Vegadan magazine in India. What was the statement? The Tamil person's issue remains. If the Muslims are also pressured, they may also take up arms. That was just a statement. However, 2 days after my mother's passing, I was arrested. Who called for that? We asked the government, why are they so afraid of the family? The Department of Meteorology says that an atmospheric disturbance would result in rainy weather over the eastern part of the country. It adds that heavy rainfall of more than 100 millimeters are also likely at some places. Meanwhile, a woman died when she was swept away by strong currents after she attempted to cross the Gama-Oya waterway in Dikpitia, Badulla.
Police said that the woman met with a tragedy when she attempted to cross the waterway with a child. The 11-year-old child had managed to save himself after clinging onto a lower branch of a tree. However, the woman was not so fortunate as she was swept away by the strong currents. A search by the locals recovered the woman's body 1 kilometer down the waterway. The victim was 71 years old and was from Ganvilagama, Dinpitia. The Disaster Management Centre of Valimadu reports that the inclement weather had displaced 56 families from Sudamala and Barwick in Valimadu. 84 persons from 21 villages in Barwick have been temporarily moved to the estate hospital in Barwick. The 35 families that were displaced have been moved to their relatives' homes temporarily. Assistant Director of the Disaster Management Centre in the Badulla district, ELM Udayakumara, said that a team attached to the National Building Research Organisation was scheduled to inspect the location today. Heavy showers in Batticaloa had inundated the Kiran Kundumimale road in the Valachene Police Division. The police media unit said that over 1 kilometre stretch of the road was inundated at 6 feet, resulting in a disruption of vehicular movement. The Army media spokesperson said that 3 boats from the Army had been deployed to move persons to the area. 3 spill gates of the Kutmale Reservoir, which releases water to the Mahavali River, were opened last night as a result of rising water levels. Our correspondent reported that as of this evening, only 1 gate remains open. The road leading to a housing scheme in Haliala Badulla was washed away by a heavy downpour. Our correspondents report that the inhabitants of the houses were evacuated. Water supply to the area too had been disrupted. 1 lane of the A9 road in the 6-kilometre post area had been washed away by a heavy downpour. Water and electricity supply to the area was disrupted as a result of this. Our correspondent said that vehicular movement on the road had been restricted to 1 lane. The Department of Meteorology says that showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the northern, north central, eastern and Uva provinces and in the Hambantota district. It adds that thunder showers will develop at most parts elsewhere after 2 p.m. The department goes on to say that there may be temporary localized strong winds during thunder showers. General public is requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by lightning activity. The highest rainfall during the 24-hour period that concluded at 8:30 this morning was recorded from Wakaneri in Batticaloa with a rainfall of 191.2 millimeters.
The 16-year-old boy who sustained severe injuries when a wooden stick pierced through his neck after falling off a tree in Bulat Sinhala underwent a special surgery at the Colombo National Hospital last night.
This boy was operated for more than 3 hours by a team of specialists consisting of vascular, cardiothoracic, anesthesia and general surgery. There had been major damage to major vessels of this child in the chest area, and then the team has removed the stick carefully, and thereafter the patient was transferred to intensive care unit in the accident service. He is still being treated there. His condition is of course somewhat critical, but we hope that he would get better.
16-year-old Tushara Indranil sustained severe injuries when a wooden stick pierced through his neck after falling off a mango tree close to his house in the Peragasgodalla area in Bulat Sinhala yesterday.
In more local news, the Court of Appeal today considered a petition filed by Janatha Vimukti Peramuna parliamentarian Vijitha Herath against the LTTE's international leader, KP, alias Kumaran Padmanathan. The petition was taken up before President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Vijit Malalgoda.
Vijit Herath in his petition stated that when KP was a leader of the LTTE, he had procured weapons via ships and supplied the LTTE with arms and money. The petitioner had also presented a list of alleged crimes committed by KP to court, and appearing on behalf of the Attorney General, Additional Solicitor General Jayanta Jayasuriya said that 4 reports have been produced via a motion over the matter. The Justice had inquired as to whether the petitioner had been presented with copies of the said reports. In response, the Additional Solicitor General noted that as the reports were presented via a motion, the petitioner could obtain copies of the reports from the court's registry. Lawyers appearing for the petitioner noted that they would make a decision on the future course of action following consideration of these reports.
We believe that the report will have facts pertaining to the 193 points mentioned in the petition. An order was issued to obtain a copy of the reports. We will follow the order and obtain a copy and consider the content. We hope to once again present facts to court on the 12th of November. This is a controversial issue. We did not mention to court that KP was directly involved in these crimes. KP became the leader of the LTTE. He was the head of the organization's weapons network. He is connected to the assassination of 2 heads of state. We are highlighting such matters.
Up next, we take a look at some news in brief.
Six more suspects were arrested this evening over the murder of karate champion Vasanta Soisa. The police media unit said that 4 suspects surrendered to the Anuradhapura police, while 2 others were arrested. A total of 20 suspects have been arrested by the police over the homicide. The body of the individual who jumped in the Kalani River in an attempt to evade arrest was recovered this morning. The Sri Lanka Navy and police diving teams undertook an operation to search for the missing individual. The incident was reported last afternoon when a team of the Mutual police entered the Grand Pass police jurisdiction to conduct a raid related to heroin. The Vana Aranata Sisu Sarana program, aimed at creating school gardens in line with the Vanaropa National Tree Planting Program, commenced today from the Pitiyagedara Mahavidyalaya in Bamulla. The program is carried out by the Central Environmental Authority, the Ministry of Mahavali Development and Environment and the Ministry of Education. The Students' Union of the University of Peradeniya demonstrated in Kandy this afternoon, urging the authorities to ensure free education. The demonstration was held citing several other demands, including the call to stop establishing private universities and increase the intake to local universities. Police today arrested 2 persons for murdering their colleague and burying the body in a gem mine in Diganava, Bakamuna, and sealing off the mine. Our correspondent said that the victim was identified as G.G. Sisira Jayanath from Mathale. Police say that the murder may have been a result of a verbal dispute between the 3. The magistrate from the Hinguragoda District Court arrived at the scene to conduct further investigations.
In business news tonight, Sri Lanka has moved up 6 places in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business list. Sri Lanka, which was placed 113th from 189 countries last year, was able to move up to the 107th position this year.
The World Bank annually compiles a list of countries based on the ability to easily engage in business activities in them. Countries are assessed based on 10 criteria, including starting a business, dealing with construction permits, getting electricity, and registering property. Accordingly, Singapore was placed first in the Ease of Doing Business list for the year 2016, while New Zealand and Denmark were placed second and third respectively. Even though Sri Lanka is placed 107th in the overall rankings, it is placed 98th in the criteria of starting a business, 77th in obtaining construction permits, and 81st in obtaining electricity. When considering the South Asian region, Bhutan and Nepal were placed first and second in the Ease of Doing Business list, while Sri Lanka claimed the third spot. Economic giant India was placed at 130. The worst country to do business in, according to the World Bank's list, was Eritrea.
Flights between Austria and Colombo, suspended for the last 10 years, resumed today. The Ministry of Transport said that plans have been made to resume flights between Colombo and other nations that were suspended over the past as a result of war.
Resuming services between the two countries, a twin-aisle Boeing 767-300 aircraft bearing the flight number OS-047 flew to Colombo today from Vienna. The Austrian Airlines flight, with 125 passengers on board, arrived at the Bandaranaike International Airport this morning. According to the ministry, the route will operate once a week between Colombo and Vienna, and from April next year, it will be extended to 3 operations per week.
Well, definitely something to look forward to this coming weekend. Well, the Sri Lankan Navy and the Indian Navy joint naval exercise commenced on the seas of Trincomalee. The exercise is scheduled to terminate on the 1st of November 2015.
6 naval ships and 6 fast attack craft of Sri Lankan Navy and 3 ships of Indian Navy will take part in the joint training this year. We leave it tonight with footage from Slinex 2015. I'm Shahan Rampati.
And I'm Mahina Bangzo. Good night.